Hey, how's it going, fellow fantasy football owners? I'm Hussein the Brain. This is Fantasy Guru Mike Mattar.
What's up?
Mike, been a lot of surprises in fantasy football, and Sid says was good again. All three picks, I'd
Man's
say.
a genius, the Nostradamus of fantasy sports.
Said Brett Favre was going to be hot for Monday Night Football. He was. He said Drew Brees was not going to do it.
Bold prediction.
He did not do it. He played the Jets, and the Jets held him. He didn't have any touchdowns. I mean, you might as well should have benched Drew Brees in week 4.
Definitely.
He said to watch Mike Sims Walker. I mean, I wouldn't even watch him for too long. I might just go pick him up because he's a wide receiver.
Swoop him up if you can.
He's a wide receiver. A lot of people haven't even heard of his name.
Yeah, now we have, because the Sid says 2 touchdowns. I mean, this guy, he said he was 6'2". He's a big target. This guy's going to be good.
We did enough watching for Walker. I'm going to go pick him up. Good waiver pickup. Let's talk about some rookies. Some rookies that have been impacting the NFL this year. Mark Sanchez, talk about him.
The number 5 overall pick on the Jets. I mean, this kid showed a lot of poise, a lot of potential so far this season. He's had one bad game this past week, but I look for him to rebound and eventually find his way in fantasy relevance.
He had a terrible week 4 against the Saints. I'd say he shouldn't even be a starter unless you're in a really deep league, but he could be a good backup player. Donald Brown, the backup for Joseph Adai.
I mean, I think this kid's going to be the future of the Colts offense. He's drafted in the first round, so you know that they believe he has a lot of talent. So this kid's going to get only more carries, more receptions out the backfield. This kid's going to be a weapon in the Colts' high-powered offense.
I like how the Colts draft, Mike. I like how Donald Brown can catch the ball. I like how he can run the ball. I think he's a good rookie this year. Percy Harvin, Brett Favre's son. What do you think about this guy?
He's a speedster. He's definitely a blower on the field. He can score from a variety of ways, and he has great hands. If you see Percy Harvin in the open field, you're not going to tackle him. Consider it a touchdown.
Yeah, he's a very versatile player. I like this guy. What about Norshon Moreno? A guy hasn't had a great 3 games, his first 3 games in the NFL. But last week he showed us a little something with a touchdown. So.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's got a really versatile game. He got a catch out of the backfield for a touchdown. Corell Buckholder's been hurt, so he's going to get a lot of carries next week.
Yeah, we don't know when Buckholder's going to be back, but it's a good test. They play the Pats next week. It's a good test to see how Moreno does. Let's talk about some people that have been drafted, some players that have been drafted early in the first and second rounds and have been flops thus far. Let's start with Matt Forte, the Bears.
Yeah, only 271 yards rushing, 1 TD on the season. He's got a bye week next week. I think he's been a bust so far.
And that last touchdown was against the Lions.
Yeah, very weak defense. So, I mean, you got to hold on to him, but I think so far he's been a bust.
Yeah, I drafted him in the first round. I'm just going to stick it out, see how he does. See how he does after he gets a little rest in the bye week for week 5.
Right.
Steve Slayton, you own him, right?
Yeah, I got him.
Been a flop thus far, I'd say.
Yeah, but I think with Matt Schaub finally connecting in the air, it's going to open up a lot of plays for the running backs. And Steve Slayton's just simply too talented, too quick, too elusive to not get production out of the backfield.
I don't like this guy that much, but he has a lot of upside in PPR leagues, points per reception leagues. He can catch the ball, and Matt Schaub's good. Yeah. So I can see if you want to hold on to him for a little longer, see how he does.
He's got a lot of talent.
One guy's been a total bust, though, is Clinton Portis.
Yeah, very disappointing. 72 carries, only 281 yards, 0 touchdowns. I mean, that's not the kind of production you want to see.
Yeah, pretty much the whole Redskins offense is terrible, unless you want to pick up the Santana Moss, the unpredictable guy, the inconsistent guy, if you want him. But other than that, Redskins offense, I'd stay away from.
I know. He's also going to have to face a tough Carolina front line next week, so it's not looking good.
We'll see. That's a match of 2 terrible teams, I'd say. We'll see what happens. What about Mike Turner, the Falcons?
Mike Turner, I mean, we expected a lot more from him before the season, but he does have 2 touchdowns on the year, so I think that he can still find his way to the end zone.
We'll see how they play against the Niners, see if he can do good against a good run defense.
It's going to be hard to do it against Patrick Willis and company, but Michael Turner might find a way.
Okay, another guy, let's talk about Brandon Jacobs. I picked him up in the second round thinking he'll get a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, only 1 TD so far this season. It's really disappointing. You think a big back like him, strong, fast, will get into the red zone and be able to score, but so far that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, I think he'll get more touchdowns throughout the year. We'll see, though. I'm going to stick it out with him. What about Brian Westbrook? A guy is a flop. I mean, this guy gets hurt every year.
Yeah, you can't really say he's a flop because I mean everyone's been expecting this to happen every year. He's always disappointing, always on the injury watch. So you can't really rely on Brian Westbrook as your number one fantasy running back.
And I say he's a flop, but yeah, you'd have to expect him. I mean, to get injured. I mean, if you draft him, just don't hope he doesn't get injured for too long, more than 1 or 2 games.
You gotta handcuff him too.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy, that's a great handcuff.
Get his
Risky
handcuff.
player. What about the fake Steve Smith?
Fake Steve
The
Smith.
one on the Panthers.
Well, the real Steve Smith, please stand up.
Yeah, this guy is not happening. He's terrible. Just
0 touchdowns, 15 receptions, only 190 yards. A lot of people thought he would do better this season.
they faced their clone, the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
2 terrible offenses going at it, and I don't know about this guy. He's a top 5 wide receiver when most people think about wide receivers to draft this year,
Yeah.
and he's a definite flop.
He's definitely fallen off a lot.
I don't see a lot of upside for the Panthers offense.
No, definitely if you have a chance, go get the other Steve Smith in New York.
If you do, he's hot right now.
Make a trade.
Let's talk about defenses, Mike. I mean, besides the Steelers, I see the Titans did got picked up pretty high.
Yeah, I have them, and so far really disappointing. I think they're really feeling the loss of Albert Haynesworth in the middle, and they've got some injuries in their secondary. So I think this isn't the Titans D of old. This is a.
I mean, you
banged
drafted
Titans.
him, but you dropped him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I suggest you
I
guys
had
do.
to.
Just drop the Titans.
Jump
D.
ship as fast as you can.
They might get better, but I really don't think so. I drop them. I go week to week. Just pick up a defense that's not playing a good offense that week. Pick them up. Then you could drop them, keep them, whatever. Just play it week to week.
And next week they're playing the Colts, so you know that they're gonna get scored on.
Well, that's all the time we have for this show. Hussein the Brain signing out.
Peace.
Peace.